All right, so about 3 months ago, my brother, my friends, and I, we took a little trip up through a canyon road. They were all in their cars, and I was on my motorcycle. And coming back down, it was like about 10 o'clock at night. We're coming back down to windy road, kind of tight turns. So I was taking it slow, going through, just all the turns, trying to take it in tight. What I did not notice was in one of the sharpest turns, there was gravel in the middle of the road. So I went to lean into the turn, and I lost traction, and my tires gave out, and I slid and hit the guardrail, which saved me from going off the edge, and went down, and my bike slid under. And it was really a scary experience, and it was very dangerous, and I could have been seriously hurt. Luckily, I walked away with like 2 scratches, and like one on my elbow, one on my ankle. But today I want to talk to you guys about the dangers of riding a motorcycle. There is weather, road conditions, and even other drivers on the road can be very hazardous to motorcyclists. So I've been on 2 wheels for almost a year now. I haven't owned a car since last November, and I encounter these dangers every day of my life. So first off, I want to talk to you guys about the different road conditions that can be very hazardous to motorcyclists. The first one I want to talk to you about is going to be gravel. Gravel, such as I encountered, makes tires lose traction, and because the little rocks on the ground can slip out from under you. And you only have 2 wheels, so one goes out, you're going down. Like this guy right here. There's also a story on the article in dailynews.com of a guy, Sean Herndon, who's 28. It says he lost control after encountering loose gravel left behind by a county Department of Public Works road crew. They were doing road work, and they left gravel there all over the road for 15 days. 15 days after they were already packed up and gone, there's still gravel, and it caused a man to slide out, and his bike then slid into oncoming traffic and hit another motorcyclist. And so both of them went down. Luckily, they both survived. Also, other road conditions such as cracks and potholes can also be very dangerous to motorcyclists. Cracks in the road can change the direction of your front tire because they get stuck in the groove and can suddenly shift, and you can lose balance and go down. And potholes, when you hit them, if you're not prepared, if you don't stand up a little bit to let your knees impact the shock, you can be thrown out of your seat and off your bike, and therefore go down as well. But in addition to road conditions, weather is also a huge effect on how you can control a bike as well. Such as when it goes into the winter season, like it is now, rain is one of the biggest hazardous things that affect you how you ride a bike. The slippery roads, water getting under your tires lets you hydroplane a lot easier, especially when you're going fast and you're leaning. You have less traction on your tire, and a little bit of water under there, you can slide out and also make you crash. Also, water, when you go through puddles, they get all of your brake discs. Now, on motorcycles, you only have 2 brakes compared to a car where you have 4. Your brakes don't work very well on a motorcycle when it's wet. And another weather condition that makes it hard to ride a motorcycle is when there's extreme wind, especially if you're riding down PCH, taking a nice cruise to the beach. Wind is very strong there, and it's a very hard side wind, which puts extra force on you and makes you lose balance and pushes your bike to lean in one direction. And if you don't know how to counterbalance that, it can be very hazardous as well. But weather conditions and road conditions mainly affect the ability of the motorcyclist, and it's pretty much all on them. But there are other dangers, such as other drivers on the road, that motorcyclists can't control. It's on them. So people, when they learn how to drive, they are taught to watch out for other cars. They're taught to check your blind spots for other cars. You notice a big vehicle in your way, you're obviously not going to change lanes. So they're trained ever since they start learning to watch out for other cars. But they never are taught watch out for motorcyclists. motorcyclists move and come onto you a lot faster. They're a lot smaller, which makes them look farther away, and it's harder to notice them. So when people try to change lanes, accidents can happen because they don't see motorcyclists. There are many times when motorcyclists, because in California it is legal to split lanes, where a motorcyclist can pass you, even going the speed limit while sharing the same lane as you, or even going directly in between two cars. It is dangerous, that's why in most states it is illegal, but here in California it is not. So when people are on the freeway and they're merging, they can merge right into you without even seeing the motorcyclist ever coming. In 2009, Insurance Institute of Highway Safety Highway Loss Data Institute report found that more than half of motorcycle deaths involve at least one other vehicle. So it might not even be the capability of the driver of the bike. It could have been something else going on where an oncoming driver didn't notice them and got in their way. And then so I want to go over some ways these things can be prevented. When you're driving in harsh conditions, or when you're just driving around, if you're on a motorcycle, just look around, look ahead of you, be aware of all your surroundings, other cars, other signals that cars may not be using, and their maneuvers. Also look at road conditions. But also, if you're riding in rain or just hazardous places or like canyons, slow down. You're going to want to drive slow. The faster you're going, the more likely you are to lose traction and slip out. But also, what like involves most of you guys, because I know most of you guys don't ride motorcycles, use your turn signals. They help a lot. I ride bikes almost every day, and countless times people almost hit me because they don't see me and don't use turn signals, and I have to watch out for them. And it is one of the most dangerous things ever. So, even though there are many dangers in riding motorcycles, it is one of the greatest things I've ever done with my life. I haven't had a car in over a year, and I really don't really need a car, except when it rains. But I use my safety precautions that I talked to you with here today, and so when there's gravel, when it could be weather, rain, wind, just use precautions. And other drivers, if they just watch out and be more aware to motorcyclists around them, then it can prevent a lot of these hazardous conditions and make motorcycle riding less dangerous. And I got lucky with my accident because I walked away perfectly fine. I wasn't even able to ride my bike home that night. But as long as I keep riding, there will always be danger at my doorstep.
All right, Danilo, what did you think?
It was pretty interesting. I actually captured everything that he said, his statement, the dangers of riding motorcycles, and the three main points are the weather, road conditions, weather, and the other drivers. There you go, thank you. I noticed all of them, and then I like how he actually used his transition correctly from one point to the other. I actually was able to follow it and have to be thinking, oh, where's it going now? Oh, okay, so talking about something else now. And then at the end, another thing that I noticed that he actually was making eye contact with everyone, including me. And then at the end, I like how he stated everything once again, and he had a little bit of humor also, since it was a little needed because the subject was a little serious. And one more thing that I noticed was he actually chose another subject other than just skateboarding. Which speech, I was actually expecting something about skateboarding, and then I was like, oh, okay, here we go. And just one thing is the helmet. Yeah, I get it. It's motorcycling, but I thought he was gonna talk about the helmet. But he didn't. Good stuff. Good times.
So he lied. He is still on 4 wheels. They're just low wheels, you know. All right. Lots of stuff here that's good. We're having a good day. I think everybody's doing a nice job here. I like the personal story about the accident to start and get our attention. That gives us a reason to listen to what's going on here. Gives you a lot of credibility. I do think that you laid out the structure very clearly for people. It's topical in nature, and the one thing that Danilo pointed out with the transitions, how clear it was and how smooth it was, I made note of that too. I thought that was a good part of the speech also. So even though the organizational structure is pretty basic, it sounds a lot more sophisticated because of the way you've used the transitions to get to each of those points, and I thought that worked really effectively. The visual materials are all integrated into the presentation, I thought, very well. You show them at the right time, you show them long enough, you explain the things that you're talking about, you get them out of the way. So you seem like you are very, very well practiced at doing this sort of thing, and that came across effectively. The one thing that I think is maybe missing from the speech is a little bit more research. In the last section, you had a little bit of statistical information about the number of accidents that involve other kinds of drivers and that sort of thing. I think you needed a little bit more material like that in other places. So, for example, you have the one story that you talked about the guy who hit the gravel, similar to your own story. I'm sure there's a reference to that. Give us that reference. We could use some other illustrations of those points, and like I said, there's probably, it's probably talked about in a handbook, people who do training on those kinds of things. You mentioned the thing about lane splitting. That's one of those things that, here's a piece of factual data. California is the only state, by the way, that you can do lane splitting in the United States. So, yeah. Well, they've got a different, I heard an argument about it a year ago. They got a different rule on it. It wasn't about getting rid of lane splitting, but it's about a different way that I can't even remember what it was. Oh, they're going to train people on doing it, or they've got some recommendation they put into the manual about it. So it's a little bit awkward. So just, I think, a little bit more research in the speech. You've got good experience and good ideas to talk about, but you need a little bit more substance to go along with those things. And I thought you did an excellent job talking to the audience. You're not dependent on your notes. You do have to look at your notes occasionally to get a story out or to remind yourself of something that's going on, but 90% of the time, you're just talking to people here, and your eye contact is not with the ceiling or the wall or behind it. You seem to be looking at people. So that's the way we want you to be continuously in your speeches. I thought you did a good job on that. Thank you.